Yay! It's my fantasy football show. You should watch it. Why, hello and welcome back to all of my friends, my fans, and my fellow FTFLers to the longest running weekly episodic fantasy football show out there. That's right, boys and girls. It is time once again for the FTFL Weekly Update, episode 143. That's right, just under 2 months from now, we'll be celebrating 150 episodes of the FTFL Weekly Update. Already working on some big surprises for that show. But before we get to that, in case you're tuning in for the very first time, let's go through a few things. Not only am I the host of this award-winning program, not only am I the owner of the two-time FTFL championship, I am currently the 2023 consolation champions, and of course, that song that is forever rocking in your heart. That's right, it is I, Brett Sieber. As you can tell, the voice is a bit crackly. I've been talking all day. I'm going to swig of water. Go Bucky. Well, the show rolls on, and so does Eric. Eric is 5-0. Now, I did not look back. I need to do some research. Maybe I'll get Brent Stebner to do a little bit of that research. Maybe the number muncher will jump back in at some point in time here. Although I think he's got a few of his own issues with numbers with regards to maybe the second round. But to find out, when was the last time we had a team go 5-0? You know, Eric, if you win again this week, we'll have that number for you next week to see where you stack up amongst all of your competition. And stacking up competition even this year, already 5 weeks in, both divisions have the leader has a 2-game lead. That to me seems a bit early, but being as I am one of the division leaders, I'll take it. Still, as you look around the landscape, now we are into the second month of the season. Not really any trades to speak of. A trade last week between Sid and I that I'm now wondering if I made a mistake. I mean, it wasn't a terrible mistake, and really there's time, so we'll see. As far as I can tell, no trades. However, a lot of insults, according to the chat board. Hopefully the insults will lessen, the trades will pick up. If for no other reason, then we don't have to listen to Saltmarsh crab about how there aren't any trades in this league. Also, by the way, I've not heard nor seen anything from the Reaper now since that heinous attack at the end of the show a couple weeks ago. No idea how he's doing. I hope he's okay. The one team that I'm pretty sure is not okay, my ride or die, Team Dickweed. Are they already dead 5 weeks into the season? I hope not. I really wanted to go see Park Rapids in August. I've heard it's just a peach of a town. I guess we'll have to wait and watch and let the games play out, and we shall. Game number 1, speaking of my ride or die, Team Dickweed coming in at 1-3, taking on the locomotive steam engine himself. The Pack Attack coming in at 4-0. We already know he has gone to 5-0, 93.5 to 82. Not Eric's best week, but it doesn't really matter. All you got to do is beat the other team in front of you, score more points. If you're Eric, 18.5 for Evans, 14 for Josh Allen. Did he get a concussion in that game? Did they let him come back in with a concussion? When are they going to be a consistent football team? It seems they're better when they run the ball, but they really want to throw the ball. I don't know. Buffalo is a roller coaster right now. Eric is strapped in and ready to go because he has to be because, well, Josh Allen. Josh Jacobs, 12.5, as well as King Henry, 12.5. Now, some of you might remember the team who was in possession, the owner or the, what do they call them, the governors? In the NBA, they're governors of King Henry coming into the season could have been a keeper for this team. Instead, that owner said, nah, I got a better idea. I'm going to trade a first-round pick away for this stud running back in Atlanta named Bijan Robinson. And King Henry, you can pound sand. King Henry has pounded lots of sand to the tune of 85 points for the first 5 weeks. Bijan, oh yeah, he's scuttling around at 39, not even half. I'm sure Sid is kicking himself for that. Who knows? Maybe that'll be in the cringy report this week. That giant bungling, seemingly, of that situation. Also, Eric's maybe second best player in his team, Brandon Aubrey, 10 points. If you're John, Jaden Daniels, 18. A good game, not a great game. Will Reichard, who I know Vikings fans are touching themselves repeatedly every time he comes onto the field, 16 points. Nico Collins, 15 today, just went on the IR. Means 4 weeks without him. That is worst case scenario for John. He needs those points. Brian Robinson, 12 points. Aaron Jones got nicked up in the game this last week in London. 2.5 for him. Bye week coming. It looks like maybe he's going to be okay. But will John be okay falling to 1 and 4? I'm not sure.
Well. What do we got here? The first victim of the FTFL. You've always been supported by a loser. He'll always be a loser. And that makes you a loser. I'm here to do what that Pansy Reaper couldn't do. To take all you fools out one by one till there's only one left to win the FTFL. That's why you have no shot. Shall we reveal who the first victim is? Dickweed, your time is over. Do you have any last words? I didn't think so. So long, loser. Your time is over.
Coming up next, the North Division leading Hulkamaniacs at 3-1, taking on the Valhalla Vandals. And as you can see, I've got the hammer out. I shined it up real nice. And if Peter will show up on my show next week, I'll turn it sideways and stick it. You know what? I'll let him hold it, actually. I'll let him hold it. Because I'm sure he's missing it after his 65.5 point performance this week. Mine wasn't much better. But as I mentioned in game one with Eric and John, all I had to be was at 66. Now I scored a 79, so I notched the victory, my 4th in a row. Tucker Kraft off the waiver wire into fantasy football stardom. 22 points, saved my bacon. 20 points for Jordan Love. Caught a lot of flack for not playing Lamar Jackson. You know what? I drafted Jordan Love because I wanted him to be my starting quarterback. I then a couple rounds later drafted Lamar Jackson because the rest of you boobs passed on him. If you want to be mad at anyone, Peter, or you want to point the finger at, I guess point it at yourself for not swooping in there and getting Lamar Jackson when you could have. That's on you, not on me, pal. I did have 4 players at 5 and under. Again, it was not a great week. Braylon Allen, newly acquired, half point. Got to believe it's only going to go up for there. Rashid Shaheed, 16 points on the bench. Would have been nice. Didn't matter. If you're Peter, 22 points on Thursday night from Mayfield was a good start. That was mostly the end of it. Chicago with 13, 5 players at 5 and under. Peter falls below 500 at 2 and 3. Next up, the Architect coming in at 2 and 2, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 1 and 3, and in some ways trying to save their season early in the goings, and save they may have. 109.5 for Andy, 78 for Matt. If you're Andy, Jamar Chase, holy crap. Jamar Chase in weeks 1 and 2 combined for 11 points. Over the last 3 weeks, he has combined for 72 points. He is flat out blown up. 37 this week for Jamar Chase. Drake London, 22. Harrison Butker, 15. San Fran defense notched 11. Devin A-Chain, half-point concussion. As if Miami needed anything else to go wrong for them. Good Lord. Let me tell you what. A lot of guys getting hurt. A lot of guys underperforming. This has been a very weird fantasy season so far. Maybe that's why I'm 4 and 1, because I don't do real well in regular fantasy seasons. Maybe weird is my thing. You know what? That didn't come out right. Hold on. Let me get a drink, and then I'll talk about Matt. If you're Matt, Trevor Lawrence, second highest score over the last 2 seasons, 22 points for him. Welcome back. DJ Moore, 20.5 points. Kyron Williams, 12.5, 4 players at 4 and under. Not a great week for Matt. He falls to 2 and 3. Andy rises to 2 and 3. Both teams under 500. Both teams, I don't know if Matt's made the cringy report yet. Andy absolutely has. Super curious to see what Peter has to say this week, hoping it's not anything about Lamar Jackson sitting on my bench with 32 points, because it didn't matter. And again, as I mentioned, you could have had him. You passed. Not one round, but two. And actually, maybe you didn't even have draft picks because you sold the farm last year and you didn't win. Hence why you were back-to-back cringy. You know what? I'm going to let you talk about the cringy report. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Cringy. Sorry, I did it again. Peter Vingy and the cringy report.
Hey, thanks for joining me here for week 5 of the Cringy Update 2024. All right, worst seed of the week goes to Hulkamaniacs. Yeah, that's right. Even though it didn't matter on the outcome of this week's matchup, you still left 32 points in one of the top QBs sitting on the bench. And on top of that, you also had Rashid Shaheed sitting on the bench, which would have given you another 16 points. Dude, come on. This week's running on empty is, oh, wait. Yeah, that was me. 65 points. So what happens when you have 4 of your starters sitting on the bench? The self-proclaimed king of ED, efficiency deficiency this week goes to Hulkamaniacs. Yeah, you guessed it, 76%. Leaving those 2 whoppers sitting on the bench definitely didn't help your percentage in efficiency startup. Barely beat out Trogdor with a whopping 77%, but still 1% counts. All right, we have a new award this week, the Participation Ribbon Award. It goes to the only team that is 1-4. 1-4. Thank you, Dickweed, for being this week's winner of the Participation Ribbon. 2024 Cringy Week 5 nominations. Without further ado, the Hulkamaniacs for benching Lamar for Jordan Love. Now, I know that Love always wins, and granted, he helped you win this week, but I think we're going to have to start calling you the Homer Maniacs moving forward. Second nomination goes to Mr. John Dickweed. With a 1-4 start, it's going to be tough for you to climb out of that cellar. But I have hope. I have beliefs, and I have hope that you can do it. Good luck, John. And that wraps up the Cringy Update for Week 5. Best of luck to all of you in the upcoming matchups. Of course, except the person that's played me. May your lineups be flawless, your waiver wire pickups golden, and your cringiest moments more than mine. Stay sharp, stay filled with cringy, and I'll see you next week for more cringe-filled moments.
Why don't we just call it the Sour Grapes Report? I mean, sure, not the greatest efficiency. I am the second highest scoring team in the league, but every now and again I'm bound to have an off week. I have 2 stud quarterbacks. That wasn't necessarily by design, but it fell into my lap and I took advantage of the situation. Don't get an award for that. You know what? Fine. Call me a Homer Maniac. That's fine and dandy. When I'm at the end of the season raising 3 fingers high into the air while clutching the hammer as I go, yeah, well, then Homer away, I guess. Homer away. Maybe, just maybe, next week it'll be a little face-to-face and I'll get to ask you about some of these things, and maybe, just maybe, you'll focus on the teams that are truly struggling. Regardless, let's move on, actually, to 2 teams who are currently struggling. Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking in on her entitled thief, and Champ Mana coming in at 2-2, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 2-2. Now remember, both of these teams started 2-0. Both of these teams have lost 2 in a row. One of those streaks was about to end. One was going to continue. Saltmarsh came out swinging. 116 for him, 83.5 for Jeff. And by the way, that was Jeff's highest point total of the season, and it still netted him an L. If you're Saltmarsh, the first buzzsaw performance of the year. That was my chainsaw / motorcycle, I guess. You know what? you get the picture. Joe Burrow, my good God, 44 points in a losing effort for his team, but not for Salty's team. Chuba Hubbard, by the way, I've been kind of bagging on Chuba Hubbard, and all he continues to do is be a steady running back. 18 points for him, right? By the way, Salty got him in the 9th round. He is currently the 6th best running back, way ahead of Bijan Robinson and a handful of other players that Peter passed on, like Lamar Jackson. But you know what? I digress. If your marks are, again, highest point total of the season, something to get excited about, but still the end result not very exciting. 17 for Young Hui Koo. 16 points for CJ Stroud. 13 for Trey Sermon. 10.5 for Pittman. It looks like Pittman now is going to be out for several weeks. That's one of Jeff's second-round picks. He has lost 3 in a row. The wheels are falling smooth off of the Thievy bus. Hopefully, he can stop the slide. But then again, I won't lose sleep over it if he doesn't. Last but not least, final game of the week. Make America Great Again, coming in at 1-3, taking on Team Team Trogdor. Not a lot of burninating going on as of late. Sure, you won last week, but back into the losing column you go. 113 for Sid, 87 for Team Womp Womp. For Sid, T. Higgins finally rises from the ashes, 20.5 points. Garrett Wilson, 18.5. Dak Prescott, 18. Kyrie Fairburn, 16. DeAndre Swift and the Minnesota defense both notched 15 points. If you're DeAndre Swift, one of those players, too, kind of like Jamar Chase, weeks 1 through 3, 11 points. The last 2 weeks, 38.5 combined. They have finally figured out that DeAndre Swift is a good football player, that they should run the ball with him. And oh, by the way, look what it did. It's opened up the passing game as well. Again, Bijan Robinson, 5.5 points, his lowest output of the season. Instead of going up, he continues to come down, which is not going to be a great trend for Sid. Now, Sid won. Can he build on this? Time will tell. If you're Adam Swart, Derek Carr, 18, George Kittle, 14, Cook, 13, Brandon Ayuk, 12. No touchdowns still for Ayuk, but he did have a bunch of catches and yards. Whatever this says here, it says 11.5 points. Plug. I don't even know what it says, and I really don't think it matters. On your bench, Brian Thomas Jr. had 20.5 points. At some point, maybe you decide it's time to start playing him. You're going to have to make that decision soon. Bucky Irving can be your rookie keeper. Get this junior kid in your lineup, score some points, maybe win some games, or maybe that's not what you're into this year. I don't know. And actually, you know what? As I say all that, I hear myself saying it, I remember, silly you, Brett. Adam Swartz is soon to be back-to-back champ of the league. I shouldn't doubt that. All right, stud the dud, and another crazy fact of the week. Here we go, stud of the week. Joe Burrow, 44 points. I mean, Jamar Chase, 37. The two of them combined, good God. Blowing it up again, a losing effort for Cincy. They are 1-4 now, much like my ride or die is 1-4. Not looking great for them, but it was a great week for Joe Burrow. Fantasy-wise, dud of the week, I didn't have much. There's players getting hurt. There's players underperforming. The crazy stat of the week, I guess, kind of melds into this entire group. They're all duds because, now, Peter, earlier during the Cringy Report, you called me the Homer Maniacs. Made a lot out of me starting Jordan Love over Lamar Jackson. You can tell that hasn't affected me one bit. Not at all. No way, no how. I am smooth as a baby's butt and cool as the other side of the pillow. But Andrew Van Ginkel of the Minnesota Vikings, that's right, the team I love to hate, has not won but 2 touchdowns on the season. 2 touchdowns for Andrew Van Ginkel. By the way, that's more touchdowns than Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Tyler Lockett, DeAndre Hopkins, Josh Jacobs. All of those clowns have less than 2 touchdowns in 5 weeks of the season. You want to talk about duds? Go ahead. Close your fingers. Close your fingers. Holy Christ. Close your eyes. Just randomly point to stuff. Pretend you're Adam Swart entering his lineup for the week, doing the crazy crow. Any and all of them guys are duds. Hopefully, as we head into week 6, these games won't be duds. The Pack Attack at 5-0 coming in, taking on the Radioactive Monkeys at 3-2. Now, if he wins this game, Eric does, he will have a 3-game lead in the division. My good God, 6 games in would just be unfathomable. Hulkamaniacs at 4-1, taking on my ride or die, Team Dickweed. Second time in the last 3 weeks. Again, John, it's not personal. It's just business. Make America great again, coming in at 2-3, taking on the Architect at 2-3 as a lifelong friendship gets tested. Mana, 4-time Lucky Pass, breaking and entering, title thief and champ. Mana dragging his ass slowly into the arena again at 2-3 to take on Trogdor, who has been burninating 0 countrysides as of late, 2-3. And then lastly, the Mexican Cocktails at 2-3, taking on the Valhalla Vandals. Best of luck, Peter. I wish only good things for you. And I love the Cringe Report, even though it seems a bit farcical, if that's a word at all. And with that, we're going to put a bow on this episode of the Weekly Update. My friends, enjoy another weekend of football. Get outside and enjoy the fall weather and all the leaves changing. And until next time, peace!